my gosh. We would be probably undefeated.
Whoever wins that game wins the MVP, in my eyes.
Winning it all is definitely non-negotiable. It's my Lions.
Now, you're in Cabo. Have you seen any of the teams that got knocked out of the playoffs?
I have not, but I've been looking.
What's good, beautiful people? We're back here with season 2, as promised. As always, got my guy Justin Pugh. He's not in the stew, and neither am I. We're in the comfort of our own cribs for season 2 now.
Yeah, man. We're in our own studios, still trying to figure it out, getting the kinks worked out. So bear with us, but we got a great episode for you guys today.
Yeah, I'm getting scoot over. Let me get scoot over so y'all can see the jerseys, man. Hey, Justin, who you got? Who you got posted up in the crib?
I don't have any jerseys behind me. I got my two teams that I play for. I got the Cardinals. I got the Giants helmets.
There's no way. Are those the ones you wore? There's no way, right?
I wore these ones. Oh, yeah, I wore these ones.
I thought one of them look like buckets from right here. Maybe it's the camera. It look a little blurry. Them look like buckets.
Hey, safety first, man. I had the big helmets on.
Yeah, so boom, talk to me. What are we talking about? We talking about the playoffs, correct?
Playoffs, regular season. We're gonna wrap it up. I want to get your take on some things. MVP, Offensive Player of the Year.
I do got a lot to say. I've been watching. It's been stressful, bro, because usually I'm looking forward to these episodes, and then I'm watching stuff, man. I can't even say this nowhere. But now we back. I got a lot to say, low key. To start off the show, let's talk about some of the major awards coming up. Y'all gonna hear it here first, so when it comes out for real, y'all can tell us either we knew it or we blew it. So let's talk MVP.
All right, so MVP, I'm gonna give you the top 3 front runners for this one. We're going Lamar Jackson, we're going Josh Allen, we're going Saquon Barkley.
Okay, now just off those 3 names, let's talk about who's not gonna win it.
All right, who's not gonna win it?
Saquon.
I think it comes down. It's a quarterback award, right?
Yeah, but Saquon's not gonna win it. Do you know why he's not gonna win it? Because he blew it.
He didn't blow it.
He
didn't blow it, man. His coach blew it by not playing him in the last game.
And he probably gave them 0 pushback. He probably said, all right, coach, whatever you need, coach. I threw my phone across the room. I said, are you kidding me? I know Eric Dickerson was happy.
I was devastated, too, because you know what the crazy thing about that whole record was? Saquon was 30 carries less than Eric Dickerson. So if I know everyone's like, oh, Eric Dickerson, he only took him 16 games. Saquon would have done it in less rushing attempts than Eric Dickerson. So it would have been a legit record.
See, and that's the argument. I never seen nobody say that. Everybody's been talking about the games. No one's talking about the actual carries.
Eric Dickerson, he broke the record, which O.J. Simpson held. He did it in 2 more games than O.J. Simpson did. So no one's talking about Eric Dickerson breaking it in more games because that's how he got it. So it would have been even. It would have been fair. And I think if he broke that record, Saquon would have been the MVP. Yes. Saquon's just a good guy.
But bro, the best part is bro, you did it a year after you done practically got booted out of New York, and you would have broke it against New York. What are we doing?
If I'm an offensive lineman, I want that record. If I'm a coach, I want that record. They're going to talk about that record.
Why would you not want that record?
All right, so we take Saquon out of it. Saquon probably won't win the MVP. So it's a 2-horse race. Lamar or Josh Allen?
You look at the Ravens, they're going to be playing the Bills. This next game is, yes, it's a playoff game, it's a divisional game, but it's an MVP game. Whoever wins that game wins the MVP, in my eyes, at least in my eyes.
But if you had to pick right now, you want me to go first?
I'm giving it to Lamar Jackson.
I'm giving it to Lamar Jackson. He's having a better season than he had last year. He's got over 4,000 passing yards, 900 rushing yards, 41 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns. But this is the key. 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
4 interceptions is all he has. So I think we're in agreement. Lamar is the MVP of the NFL.
But now, hey.
Do you want to try to make a case for why Josh Allen should win it?
If you think about the preseason, we was all looking at the Bills like, oh, they're cooked. You know, we was giving them the Patriots treatment. Like, oh, yeah, they're over with. And then, boom, he still came through and made something shake.
Yeah, the one thing I will say about Josh Allen is he put the team on his back. All those veterans left his team. He lost Stephon Diggs. We were thinking, who's he going to throw to? And all he's done is week in and week out and it's produced. If you took him off that team, if you took Josh Allen off the Bills, they don't even make the playoffs.
That's a fact. But you can say the same thing for Lamar.
But I think the Ravens would be a better team without Lamar than the Bills would be without Josh Allen. So that's why I think maybe you can make it's not just the best quarterback award, but it's like the guy who is most valuable to his team. I think that's where Josh Allen maybe could sneak in there.
I feel you. So now Offensive Player of the Year, is that an automatic second place to the MVP? Because it's practically the top 3 candidates. Does he, if he
Yeah,
wins the MVP, does he go get Offensive Player of the Year, or does that conversation look a little bit different?
I mean, dude, this is where, and I'm maybe a little biased. We're probably a little biased because we had him on our show. But you got to give Saquon Barkley some kind of
Something.
credit for the
He got to
season
leave
that he
here
had.
with something. Yes. Yeah.
Right?
He got to leave here with something.
So my thing is Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, you two battle it out for MVP. But if you take Saquon Barkley off of the Philadelphia Eagles, they aren't the number 2 seed in the NFC this year. They lost Jalen Hurts. Like, they might not have won a lot of those games. They might not even, I'm not going to say they wouldn't be a playoff team without Saquon Barkley, but their season looks a whole lot different. So for me, I think that Saquon Barkley deserves to be at least the offensive player of the year in the NFL. He's got 2,000 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns. He did it out of the backfield. He's put the team on his back. I think the offensive player of the year is Saquon Barkley.
Like, to think y'all finished second in the MVP and second in Offensive Player of the Year. It's like, yo, what the heck?
I mean, you
it's
really
like,
could give it to
think
any
about
of those guys.
Because let's say Lamar wins MVP and Saquon wins Offensive Player of the Year. What about Josh Allen? What Josh Allen get? A contract bonus? Like, what he get?
Who do you think the offensive rookie of the year is, AJ?
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. I hope it's Jaden Daniels.
Is there any way that Brock Bowers or Bo Nix can come in and steal that award?
So if we're going off of strictly just success, Jaden Daniels, like, he's made it the furthest. He's got the numbers to back it up. Sure, Bo Nix may have slightly better numbers, slightly, if you're looking out. Depends on what category you're looking at. Brock Bowers is bugging. Like, as a rookie, he's bugging. And he's a tight end, bugging. But you're on the Raiders.
112 catches.
Yeah, you're bugging, but you're on the Raiders.
Yeah. You didn't impact the team enough.
You're on the Raiders.
No, I'm with you on that one. I think it's Jaden Daniels, no question. And I will say, too, I talked to some guys in the Commanders, some guys that I played with, and they've talked about Jaden's the first one in, last one out. Mm-hmm. His like control of the playbook is already like a veteran. So I'm just excited to see where he's going to go from here. And if you're in the NFC East, if you're the Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, you better watch out because the Commanders just planted their flag like, hey, Eagles, yeah, you're the 2 seed. You look good right now, but we're coming.
All right, let's do this. And don't cheat either. You got a piece of paper near you?
Yeah, I got paper.
Oh, perfect. Look at you being prepared. Perfect. All right, let's do this. It's with final 8 teams left. I want you to write down your Super Bowl picks. Like, write down the matchup and write down who you think is going to win. Write it down, put it in an envelope, and we'll open up Super Bowl.
You want score in there too?
Bonus points if you want to write down the score.
Come on, man. Let me be the stat guy.
Or if you write down the exact score, you need to go put it on Vegas or something.
All right, I got it. Signed, sealed, delivered. Right here. You can't see it. I'll put it right here on my desk.
I think this is the Super Bowl America wants and needs. I wrote down the Super Bowl America wants and needs. Let's jump in the third and short where we go over last week's games and go over some of our favorite moments. All right, there's not too many matchups going on right now, so let's just go in order. Let's go Ravens Steelers.
Ooh, Ravens Steelers. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Lamar. Lamar came to play. This is what I love the most about Lamar is he didn't care if I got to run it, if I have to throw it. I'm not going to sit back here and just try to like prove to everybody that when it comes playoff time, I'm going to try to sit back in the pocket and try to be like what everyone else wants me to be. He is doing whatever it takes to win. And then Derrick Henry has been the X factor. Everyone's been talking about what's going to get the Ravens over the hump. They're able to turn around and hand it off 15 times in a row to Derrick Henry, and he's the closer. 186 yards rushing in this game. He absolutely broke the spirit of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think the Steelers were good all year long. I thought they were a little bit overhyped.
I was enjoying Russ' little comeback show. I was enjoying it. I definitely didn't think it was going to be enough to finish the job. I definitely seen that coming.
All right, let's move on to the next game. Another game that probably went according to how everyone thought it was going to go. Packers versus Eagles. Give me your thoughts on that one.
I've been telling you all year, the Packers get a chance. The Packers get multiple chances to win a game and can't do it. Every time. I mean, you got receivers jumping on a speed out, can't get his feet down on 4th down. You got random interceptions getting thrown.
Awful.
Like, come on, they're right there. The door is open for them to make plays, and it just don't happen.
I came into this year, I'm like, the Packers are going to regress. I didn't think they were going to be the Super Bowl contender everyone thought they were. But Jordan Love won me over midway through the season, And then the last half of the last 4 or 5 games down the stretch, he went back to this Jordan Love who's throwing terrible interceptions, making bad decisions. And the game started off as bad as you could have asked with a fumble, and the Eagles score the very next play. Jordan Love never got out of a funk. He threw that terrible interception to Zach Bond. The only 2 players that I felt like were really getting after it was Josh Jacobs, Jaden Reed, and then the defense was playing well. The defense was playing really well. I was texting my buddies who are all Eagles fans. I said, this is the biggest 10-point lead blowout I've ever watched, because you knew, even though the game was close, you knew the Packers had no shot. I was just like to my boys, you better hope the Eagles don't let up a cheap touchdown and let them back into this game, because they dominated every which way. Saquon Barkley should have scored on that last rush, right? He's too good. He's too nice of a guy.
So what you rush for? About $120? Probably could have had you about $170. This is what I'm talking about with Saquon. He said, "Oh, I'm gonna take it, bro. Y'all up already by like 2 possessions, bro. You go just up 3 possessions. That's ending the game. Still, go get you a stat. Come on, I get it. Oh well, if I slide, we can take a knee and the game's over. If you go score, the game's over. Still, bro. Like,
oh, hold on now. We got to talk about this. AJ Brown reading a book on the sideline. Have you ever seen that in the NFL?
No, I don't think I've ever seen somebody reading a book. But question was he actually reading it, or was he LeBron in it?
Yeah, I think he was LeBron in it.
He might
was
have
definitely
been LeBron in it. Who knows? He might have been actually reading it, but he might have also been LeBron in it.
All right, what's the last game you want to talk about from this last weekend?
Last game I want to talk about. I mean, we could either go. Oh yeah, what am I talking about? We got to go to the Commanders game. Yeah, they're talking about this is probably one of the best wild card games in history. I mean, it was a nice looking game.
It was one of the best games of the weekend. There was a point where I thought Tampa Bay was going to really flip the script. There was a play where Baker Mayfield just ran everybody over. I'm like, yeah, he's got that dog in him. Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore.
Nah, the Bucks, they looked good. They looked good, and that might tell us something about the Commanders, but they looked good.
Man, but the Commanders are resilient. Like, they are get knocked down, we get up, we keep swinging. Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin. My biggest flop this year was not giving enough respect to Terry McLaurin.
What did I tell you? Yeah, I told you early in the season when you said so-and-so was the best receiver on the field. I was like, yo. Yes, Terry McLaurin shows up, bro.
DJ Moore, who actually walked off the field on his own team this year.
And you said he was the
that
best
was my worst call.
He wasn't even trying to be an eligible receiver on the field. Bro left the game. But no, there was some catches Terry McLaurin was making. I just thought for sure the ref was going to come running, yelling incomplete, and they signaling. I'm like, oh, snap, he caught it.
The one thing that they didn't run the ball great. But Tampa Bay has a very, very good defense. So it was all on Jaden's shoulders, and he did what he had to do. Yeah. He led his team down the field in the last drive of the game to go win it. Zane Gonzalez doinks it off the field goal post and in. I couldn't be happier for the Commanders. I got a lot of friends down there on that team, so obviously I'm a little biased, but man, it's got to feel good for the Washington Commanders to go get a win. Speaking of the Commanders, they have a massive test against the Detroit Lions, which is the perfect segue for our guest today. We got on our boy Golden Tate, the Yak King.
Even though we moved to the comfort of our cribs, we still kept another thing consistent. We still got time for a guest. And today we've got a former 1-5. We got Golden Tate. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm chilling, man. Happy to be on, air it out. Been listening to y'all for a while, so okay, keep doing y'all thing.
Appreciate you. What you dressed for? You look like you dressed to impress.
I guess, y'all brought to my attention just on the backstage that I'm just rocking the Notre Dame colors, celebrating us going to the Natty in a few days. But no, I'm out in Cabo on a church vision trip and, trying to dress like I'm in Cabo.
Yeah, you chilling, man. Don't worry. We definitely going to talk about the national championship here in a minute.
Hold on. Now, you're in Cabo. Have you seen any of the teams that got knocked out of the playoffs?
I have not. But I've been looking. I hadn't seen anybody just yet, but I'm sure give it another day or two and guys start popping in.
Was that a thing? I mean, you've been to the playoffs a lot throughout your career. Like, were guys definitely planning those trips to Cabo after, or is that all just internet talk?
Probably 50-50. I was always a last minute planner, so I wasn't really doing that. But if you're in the playoffs, you don't really plan until you're done because you're all in trying to give yourself the best chance to get to the next round and go to the Super Bowl. So like you're locked in. But if you were on a team that was, you know, 4-12, 4-13, you're definitely scoping out, dang, where we going? We need to get a break and a break
Yeah,
quick.
get
And
this book.
bro, those, I've been on a few of those teams. Those are the worst teams to be on, dude. Like it's just deflating, but you still got to show up and be a pro because you're playing for a job for the next season. You don't know what's going to happen with head coaching jobs. No team is ever the same. And you're grinding for so long. I mean, you get to midseason and you're 2-8, and you kind of knowing like, man, this is just not looking good. Statistically, we can probably still get in the playoffs, but it's like a 13% chance, and it's like, God, I still gotta go wake up and practice, and I feel like doo-doo cakes. It's depressing. What y'all think I'm more known as? Like, what do you identify me as, a Seahawk or a Lion?
We were arguing about this before you came on, and I was going through that same dilemma. I was like, when we're doing the intro, which name should I say? The Super Bowl is like, that's going to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
And that team, man, if you were watching football 2010 to 2015, that was the scariest team to play against. As a young player coming into this league, I remember Cam Chancellor. I want to ask you about the Legion of Boom here in a second, but I remember as an offensive lineman, we play you guys in 2013 at MetLife.
Mm-hmm.
And Cam Chancellor was always dropping in the box. And I'm like, I'm going to go hit him. Like, he's known for hitting everybody. I'm a young first-round pick. I'm thinking I'm hot. So I run up there to hit Cam Chancellor. Boom, hit him. I went noodle, straight noodle, man. Like, my whole body gave out. He didn't KO me and put me to the ground. To this day, it's the hardest I've ever been hit. So, like, for me, that Seahawks team that you were a part of, that was like every young player wanted to run the ball like Marshawn, wanted to catch and run like you and Russ and the receivers, wanted to play defense like the Legion of Boom, wanted to chew gum and coach like Pete Carroll. So, like, I just feel like that team had so much aura about them. And as a player in the league, I felt that. So, just like we've said in the show all the time, stats are beautiful, but rings are forever, right?
1,000%, man. I reflect on that team that we had back in Seattle, man. We had a lot going for us, man. We had so much personality. Can you imagine, like, just managing the different personalities of, Red Bryant, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Russell Wilson, myself, Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, Cliff Averill,
Yeah,
Chris Clemens, Bobby Wagner,
Still
Brandon
playing.
Browner. Bro, we had personality. We had dogs. Bro, if you really look at it, like, we kind of changed the trajectory of the NFL in some categories because up until Richard Sherman got into the league, there really wasn't too many tall cornerbacks that you wanted long and lanky besides like what maybe Namdi. And then suddenly everybody wanted to have these tall, longer cornerbacks. I feel like we played our cover three so exceptionally well that people wanted to play more cover three defensively. I feel like that was during the time where, okay, well, we don't need this three-step quarterback that has a rocket arm and that can only pass. Let's go find us a guy who can throw the ball well, but also he can move around outside the pocket. He can make things happen on his feet. And then one of the best things Seattle had ever done, probably for the rest of the time, was when they traded for Marshawn Lynch, a complete beast, dog. And God, man, it was so much fun. That's the like you said, the aura, the time that we were there, like in Washington State and Seattle during the tech boom. We're a team that's coming on the scene in the NFC West, which at that time, I don't care what you say, there wasn't a better conference than the NFC West, period. We knew NFC Championship, if we have beat the 49ers, that was like the Super Bowl #1 before we played the actual Super Bowl. And so, God, man, that was some of the best time of my life, man.
Yeah, I mean, I want to take it to the Lions, though, because right now, a lot of times, like, hey, the teams that you are on that are playing good, you're cheering for the teams that you played for. So obviously, you're cheering for the Detroit Lions right now, saying you were the Yak King. They got a Yak King themselves right now, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, dog. What makes the Lions so good? And they become a little bit of America's team this year.
Detroit's been the butt of the joke for so long, man. Like Detroit's never really been in the conversation for really anything football wise for so long because you had to deal with Aaron Rodgers for so long and you had to deal with Brett Favre for so long. And so Stafford just was always overlooked, but we all knew that Stafford could one play. Now it changed once Dan Campbell got there. He changed it, and a lot of people thought he was crazy at first. A lot of people were like, I don't know about this guy. A lot of people jumped ship when they went. I don't know. They started the season like 2-6. He's garbage, and they turned around and had that team win like I don't know 6, 7, 8 straight to almost push to the playoffs. And then that's when people started believing. And you just look at how he's made that team up, man. They've drafted well. They go get Jared Goff, who a lot of people thought, man, this man is going to Detroit to die. Period. He comes in there with a chip on his shoulders, completely turned that organization around, and just like the personality of the head coach, drafting well, getting guys, it's like the full send. Like guys are bought in. They believe everything that comes out of his mouth. And then you got other player coaches. You got a young Ben Johnson in there who's highly sought after for head coaching jobs. Now you got Aaron Glenn, who's an ex-player who knows what he's doing. And then you got Dan Campbell, who played the game as well. And so it's just like everything is kind of aligned in Detroit over the last few years. And now they are to a point where they have a championship caliber team as long as they continue to draft well, bring in the right pieces. Now, I think it says a lot that the Detroit Lions are the number 1 seed in the NFC, even after all the injuries that they've been plagued with. I'm talking about they have all pro guys going down. Their defensive line is just completely beat up, and they still keep finding ways to win games and embarrass teams. And the way they win games, man, they're winning games by doing hook and ladders in the middle, in the second quarter and the third quarter. Man, that's the end of the game play, and they just out here having fun with trick plays and taking it to the house with Jameis Winston. It's like, man, or Jameis Williams. So it's just,
Don't
man,
get us
they're just
going on
fun.
Jameis Winston, though. We're big Jameis Winston fans on this show.
That's E1. That's a W.
Man, you talking about one of the best personalities in football to listen to. I could listen to him all day. Just, I don't know, because you don't know what he's going to say, but it's going to be funny as hell.
But I mean, I guess now we could definitely move on. Justin, like you said, right now the Lions are the hot hand in sports right now. We were talking a little bit about Coach of the Year. And we're between Dan up in Detroit, we're between Dan down in Washington, and we're between Buddy and the Vikings. What's his name again? Stats man.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn, were you in Seattle with Dan Quinn?
Yeah, man. I love DC.
Dan Campbell.
Man, that's strong.
And then Andy Reid. Andy Reid was the fourth one.
Man, we ain't talking about Andy Reid, man. He didn't won it too many times. He at this, you got MVP. No. And Andy Reid's a Hall of Fame coach, bro. But you just look at what Dan Quinn has done in Washington. I mean, that you talking about a complete dumpster fire is what he walked into, and brought in some pieces. And is it the East, the NFC in the East with the Eagles, Dallas. If if Dak didn't go down, and the Giants, I mean, to do what he's doing in that division where Washington's been like the fourth place like year in and year out in that division is crazy. To do it with a rookie quarterback, bro. That's what. And then you said who else? O'Connell. I mean, what he's doing in Vikings is pretty special too. Like Sam Darnold's out there. I mean, never in a million years anyone would have thought or bet their money that Skull Nation was about to be, what were they, 14 or 15-2 or whatever.
14-3.
Or 14. That's wild, dog. Who two of their losses come to though? Just wondering.
Lions.
Hey, boy.
So then he can't beat Dan Campbell then, right? Kevin O'Connell has to be below Dan Campbell.
That's a fact.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a great point.
Well, I mean, neither one of us picked O'Connell.
All right, so it's Dan.
Yeah.
We're with the Dans.
Yeah, I think O'Connell's definitely third place before the conversation even starts without even making a point, period. I got to go with Dan Quinn because going into this season, the Lions were supposed to be doing what they were doing this season, right? Everybody had high hopes for the Lions after going to the NFC Championship. And so we anticipated and felt like Dan Campbell was doing what he ought to do this year, and he is doing that, keeping these guys alive. And so I think the Cinderella story with all the tangibles and intangibles over in Washington is nothing shy of spectacular. Because when you come in as a head coach, you have such tall orders. The pressures from the organization, the city, you're changing the culture. You got a rookie quarterback. You done brought in some pieces, some leadership pieces with that Zach Ertz and Eckler, and Scary Terry's back alive, going nuts. I mean, it's great. It's great. And on top of that, like Dan Quinn is more of a defensive mind too, right? And so he making the offense and the defense fly. And so and this is me coming from a heart of like I am Lions all day, but I don't know how you give it to someone else besides Dan Quinn.
No, I'm with you on that. I actually think I use the same words, dumpster fire, and then he turned that around. Like we must have had a conversation. We didn't, but that's what the world and we know from playing in the league what Washington was considered. But to take it back to Detroit and Seattle, right? Now we talk about going back and forth between like your allegiances, and I think you have a case for both. Two of the rowdiest places in all of sports to play. I mean, you got the 12th man up in Seattle. I love that environment. They got the DJ going. The fans are crazy. Never in a million years did I think Ford Field would get as rowdy as it was. What makes Ford Field so crazy? But then give me your Mount Rushmore of stadiums that you played in.
Focus on one at a time.
I'm giving two. All right. We'll start with this one. Give me why Detroit is so rowdy and why that fan base is so crazy.
Well, I do think playing indoors makes noise. It hits each other and doesn't go anywhere, so it makes it super loud. I do think that plays a part in it. But if you really think about this fan base, they've been waiting to lose their voices every single week for something to be proud of and something that actually has a chance. And so they've been waiting a long, long time, and the time has been over the last 2 to 3 years. And so they bringing it every single week. It is like, there ain't too many things to do in Detroit on Sundays, but I can tell you one thing they're doing for dang sure is they're watching the Lions. And then they've always been like that. It's just like they've been showing up to the bar and to the stadium and at home like, oh, we hope we win today. I think Detroit's in a place now where they expect to win week in and week out, and that's powerful. And if I expect to win and I believe I'm going to win, that means our fans are going to believe we're going to win, and we win. They dominate at home, man. And that's what this league is about. Like, you gotta win majority of your games at home, period. If not 60 to 70% of it, and then you got to steal some games on the road, like half the games on the road. And they've done exactly that. And so just like the fan base, like I said, they've been waiting a lifetime for this.
Was Eminem always coming to the games, or now that they're in the playoffs, Eminem showing up to games?
Oh, bro, shoot. Eminem was pulling up even when I was playing. Big Sean was pulling up even when I was playing. Obviously, Calvin was still playing, and Barry was still pulling up when I was playing. But now, you're starting to see a few other celebrities pull up, which is amazing. And then you also got a lot of bandwagoners now. Like we got, I was in the Bahamas a few weeks ago, and there were some folks that were actually from Michigan that were big fans, but then they were there with some folks from Texas, and they kind of just transitioned them over to the Lions, and now the real ones know a real one when they see him, period. But now you see a lot more bandwagoners. Now you're seeing people, no matter where you go, people rocking Detroit gear, period.
Yeah.
Like it used to be like, man, you can't rock this gear because you're gonna get clowned. And now people like, man, we rocking. We know we rocking. We the most exciting team in the league, period.
You mentioned Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's kind of been that tone setter. Every play, he's blocking after the whistle. He's trying to take people out. He's running great routes. He's Mr. Consistent. So give me your thoughts on Amon-Ra. What makes him so special?
First off, Amon-Ra is my favorite receiver in the NFL, period. And a lot of it is because he reminds me so much of myself as a player, as a young guy. Not the tallest, not the fastest, not the strongest, but got that dog in you. Like he got that, it's right here for him. Like I take it personal that that you drafted these guys ahead of me. I take it personal that underwriting me. I take it personal that you think you can guard me and say whatever you want about me. And he go out there and play with a chip on his shoulder, and it's just all self-belief. Like, he's got talent, period. But, like, to take that talent and also take the mentality, that dog mentality. I'm talking about that killer mentality. Like, when he step on that field, no matter who's on the field, he one of them dudes to think, like, I am him. I am him. And so you can see that. You can feel that. It's like fun to watching it. And, man, I sit back and just cross my legs like, man, you making me so proud right now, bro, because you're not that 6'2", 4'2" guy, 4'3" guy that has the length and the speed and the explosiveness. You just a guy that just wants it. You want it bad enough. You got something that you can't teach, you can't develop, and that's that dog. And so, man, I get so excited watching him too, man. It could be
you
just
got us hyped up.
Bro, it could be something simple too, bro. It could be like just a little slant or option route. And that to the public, it looked like it's nothing. But it is something when you got a dude draped over you and you consider not to be open, but you find a way to fight and claw to make that catch on 3rd and 4 in the 4th quarter to secure the win or to on that for that big time first down. Like, I see that stuff, man, because hell, anybody can catch these passes in the 1st quarter wide open when you fresh legs. But can you do it when that's your 6th, 7th play in the slot on 3rd down with the game on the line? Can you do it then? That's what I call a game breaker right there.
And so with that dog mentality, with fighting through the injuries they've had from their best players, with the personality of the head coach, what do you think is going to be the key for the Lions to make it to the Super Bowl?
We know our identity. We know what we need to do, and we will do that as long as we continue to play smart football. And the game of football is already hard as it is, but it becomes even tougher when you start throwing penalties and turning the ball over. So if we can limit the penalties and turnovers, which I fully anticipate we will be just fine. And my hopes are over this week off with the bye and then a whole another full week to prepare, we start getting guys back. We start getting some of our front 4, front 7 guys back. It was a godsend to get Anzalone back. I mean, he came back out and was just going crazy. Like, he never missed a beat, which I did not see happen.
Yeah, like a cast on his arm too.
Man, just going out there getting it. So we keep playing ball the way we play ball, control the game, how we want to control the game, and run the ball. It's going to be hard to beat us, especially as the number 1 seed that's playing, this 5, 6, 7 seeds, this coming up week, and then we're back at home again, and then we, hopefully we can get there, but we can't let all that BS float. We don't read your articles. Don't be reading what everybody talking about you the greatest thing since sliced cheese, because that's when you slip up and get caught. You stay focused. You stay hungry. The job is not done until we get to after February 10th, 11th, whenever it is. And so just keep your head down and keep grinding.
All right, Golden, we've talked about the receivers. We talked about your time in Detroit. There's one guy in Detroit that makes this thing go, and it's the quarterback, and it's Jared Goff. Top 10 in the league, right?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, what he's doing over there has, one, saved a lot of people jobs and probably earned some people some head coach jobs. What he's done is obviously earned himself another big bag when people anticipated he was going to die there. And just he's one of my homies, man. I tell y'all this story. We're both in LA. We're both huge golfers, and we go to play like it's either Bear Lair Country Club or Los Angeles Country Club. And Jared's playing like I'm talking about a day or two after he had just been traded. I'm like, dang, this is gonna be awkward. And we get up there, man, and like we play, front 9 or something like that. And I wait until like I know he happy. Like I think he just birdied a hole. I'm like, I'm not about to ask him after a bogey. He birdied a hole. I'm like, hey, bro. So like, man, you excited about going to Detroit? It's a completely different place. LA, after they just won a Super Bowl or went to Super Bowl to Detroit, where how you feeling? And he said, GT, you know what, bro? I'm excited, man. I can't wait to get over there. I can't wait to get to work. I can't wait to help this program turn around. what means a lot to me and what's going to wake me up every morning to give it my best is that a team came and got me. They wanted me. They wanted me there. They valued me as a player, as a person, as a leader. And so I'm going to make sure that I do my part and make whatever, what they think is about to happen ain't about to happen. And that story sticks with me, and it's kind of what he's done. Like, I mean, he don't want to be in the cameras. He don't want to be on TV. He don't want to be in the tabloids. He just want to play football. He just want to play football and keep balling, keep finding a way. And he's going to be the same Jared Goff, no matter if he throw 5 touchdowns or 5 picks. He's going to be the same person that's going to approach it the same way, and that's always to be the best he possibly can be, and you can see that.
Now, you were friendly with both guys then, so then you knew Jared and you knew Matthew when they went through that transition.
Mm-hmm.
How did you see that from the other side of the coin with Matthew Stafford coming and getting traded to L.A. and then going on and winning a Super Bowl? I feel like that's a pretty crazy dynamic.
Look, people used to think I was crazy. They'd ask me all the time, who's the best quarterback you played with? And I would say, before they even finish quarterback, I was already saying Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, the grit he has for one, the talent he has also, and he can make every single throw on the field, and he can make them all look easy. So as soon as he went to LA, and I knew he had Sean McVay, a mastermind, and calling plays, I said, man, they finna win the Super Bowl, bro. I knew that he was going to do very, very well there, and he was going to be good. And that's when people started believing, oh, Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback. I was like, well, duh.
Where have you been for the last 13 years?
The king of comebacks. We didn't even have a run game. We had good backs and good play. We just didn't have a good scheme, in my opinion. But we didn't have a run game, and we were still able to play action pass everybody. We were still able to throw the ball down the field. We were still able to come back in the fourth quarter on multiple occasions without having a running game, dog. Like Stafford, he is him, bro. Him.
All right, so you got Notre Dame winning it in the college football playoffs, obviously. You played there. Now we're going back to the NFL. Give me your prediction for the Super Bowl. Me and AJ wrote ours down earlier. We're going to give it out later, but let us get your take on who wins it all in the NFL.
Well, winning it all is definitely non-negotiable. It's my Lions, all right? Come on. Now, at the AFC, Buffalo got Baltimore this coming up week. Kansas City just always going to find a way. Man, that's such a tough one because you just never can you can't write off Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey. They show up in big games. You kind of wonder, all right, has Lamar finally gotten over that playoff hump? Can he get out in there and win convincingly to beat divisional rival last week? That's a big deal. That's good for confidence. Buffalo playing some of the best football they could possibly play. I mean, Josh Allen, hey, whatever you do is wrong. I'm going to run you over. I'm going to throw it over you. I'm going to run you over again. And next thing you know, I got 5 touchdowns to my name. Woo! Oh, man. I think who I want to see as a fan of football is I want to see Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen get there and do something in it. I kind of feel like Buffalo has an edge. So I feel like they're going to beat Baltimore this week, whenever that game is. So I'm gonna go Josh Allen. I'm gonna go Josh Allen in Buffalo. Finally,
Detroit.
Now to wrap this up real quick, between that Ravens and Bills game, do you think the winner of that game wins the NFL MVP?
Not necessarily. And I don't even. You probably know better than what's Lamar's stats like this year? I mean, are they
better? Much better.
Better than last year?
I'll give you the stats. Lamar's got 4,100 passing yards, 900 rushing yards, 41 touchdowns passing, 4 rushing, 4 interceptions. Where Josh Allen's got 3,700 passing yards, 500 yards rushing, 28 passing touchdowns, 12 rushing though, and 5 interceptions. Lamar's stats are better, significantly better.
Big trust. You.
But the argument we made is like, what team is worse off without their quarterback? Like, who's the most valuable player if you take stats away?
Good Lord, but y'all stressing me out with this one because there's just really no, you can make a case, there's no right answer, I feel like. It's just,
Yeah.
you got to let that one just play out because somebody going to be pissed off regardless and going to make an argument for why it should be the other way around. But it's going to be hard to not give it to Lamar again, especially if his numbers are significantly better than they were last year when he won it. How you going to not give him to him this year, right? Is my question.
Right.
I think we're all in agreement there. We both, me and AJ said the same exact thing.
Well, that's good. At least I have some good logic.
All right, guys, we appreciate Golden for coming on the show today. This was incredible. We know you're down in Cabo. You're looking for some NFL players that season's just ended. Take it easy on them on the golf course today, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, man, appreciate it, boys. Happy New Year.
All right, we heard his prediction. We got both of our predictions written down. But before we can get to the big game, we got to look downfield at the games coming up. And like you said earlier in the episode, the Commanders is going to get the SAT in the Detroit Lions. How you see this game going? I mean, I know how I see this game going. I might have it written down, but
Here's my issue with this one. Detroit has been the best team all season long. They're getting healthy. They got a week off. It's at home, that raucous environment. I mean, you heard, after listening to Golden Tate, I want to go try to play for the Detroit Lions right now. It's going to be tough. It's going to be an uphill battle. The only way the Commanders can do it, they need takeaways. They need Jared Goff to not show up in this game. But, man, I want the Commanders. My heart wants the Commanders. But at home, Detroit Lions, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a tough one. I'm going Detroit. What about you?
I think it's over with. It's over with. Jaden Daniels, I think he's solidified his offensive rookie of the year status. He's already went to the playoffs. His other two candidates didn't. I definitely think that's a great way to wrap up your rookie season. If you somehow go beat the Detroit Lions,
Oh, my God.
I mean, we might have to have a co-NFL MVP.
He wins the MVP.
Head coach of the year, offensive rookie of the year, MVP. Boy, you go beat the Detroit Lions.
Think about how much pressure. If they just score first in that game, think about how much pressure the Detroit Lions are going to be under.
Jaden, you go beat the Detroit Lions.
All right, so if he wins the MVP, then the next game we're going to talk about, it's the two MVP candidates. And this one I think is the game of the year. It's the Ravens going to Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
I feel like I'm about tired of seeing that matchup. I feel like almost every year it's either Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills. Like it always comes down to this. I would love to see the Ravens come out of that game with a W. I would love to see it strictly because everybody's always talking about Lamar being able to finish in the playoffs. Everyone's always on Lamar's head. I would love to see him go win that game. And I think he has all the tools and swagger to do it. Where's the game?
In Buffalo.
I mean, I'm only saying that because I keep seeing every time like I'm watching the Ravens games in the playoffs, Lamar be on the sideline with his shiesty looking freezing cold, bro. When they be showing him close up on him, he be sitting there like, I'm like, bro, he's sick.
This may sound crazy to everybody. I think the Ravens go in there and bully them.
I don't think this sounds crazy at all. I mean, that's what I hope. I think that's what America wants to see. Well, not America. I think that's what I want to see.
They are the bully. Their defense wasn't great the first half of the season. They've turned it around. I don't think the Buffalo Bills defense can slow down Lamar Jackson. They already beat up on him earlier in the season. I think it happens again. And I think the Ravens are destined for a clash with the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship. And I guess that kind of leads who's gonna win this next game because I already said it.
Who, the Chiefs Texans?
Chiefs Texans. Is that even worth talking about?
No, next. Who knows though, bro? Because we've said it. The Chiefs keep winning games by you know what I'm saying? They win it by a lace. So it's like, who knows, bro? Don't let them come in there thinking automatic. Don't let any all it's gonna take is one player to think they coming in there and gonna win like a landslide, and they mess around and get into a shootout, get into a dogfight in the final minutes, and the Texans mess around and stun them. Who knows? But I mean, Off the camera. We all know. Off the
We all
camera.
know
We
what's
all
going to
know.
happen.
Like,
That would probably be, in my opinion, because I didn't think the Chiefs. I don't think the Texans are very good. Like, I didn't think the Chargers over exceeded expectations. The Texans have a great defense. I'm very nervous about them scheming up CJ Stroud. I think this one is going to be a Chiefs blowout victory. And I picked the Texans to win last week. I thought they were going to beat the Chargers because there's too much of a chip. People are being too disrespectful. The Texans are a good team.
yeah.
It's the Chiefs now, though.
All right, beautiful people. Now, there's plenty of matchups coming up. We're all excited. And when there's plenty of time for y'all to go down in the comments and tell me which ones we nailed and which ones we blew it.
I think we hit them all. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with us. There'll probably be some Bills fans in the comments. We love you, Bills Mafia. It's just, I think it's Lamar's time.
Y'all know what I'm going to say. Hit the like, subscribe, be in the comments, and stay beautiful. See you next week.